Greetings everybody, my name is Captain Comedy. I'm captain of the Comedy Pirates here with today's video. Now for today's video, I'm going to be going over a Yu-Gi-Oh deck when it comes to Digital Bug. Let's see, here it is, Digital Bug. So today's video is going over the deck list when it comes to Digital Bug and how they work. Now Digital Bug is super easy and very basic to learn. Digital Bug came out in like the early 2000s, I want to say 2012. Well, whenever the time Yu-Gi-Oh! XYZ came out, it had Digital Bug and never had any support then. It was complete. Here you go. That's it. No more. From what I can remember, there's never been support since then, but it's pretty easy and simple to learn. Basically, Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital Bug revolves around level 3 light insect monsters that have two abilities. When you go from attack mode to defense mode and defense mode to attack mode, it activates an ability like summoning a digital bug from your hand to the field, from your graveyard to your hand, or whatever. And then if you use a digital bug as an overlay unit for a digital bug card or anything when it comes to XYZ, you gain an ability like 1000 attack and defense, or when you attack a defense position monster, it does piercing damage and so forth. But yeah, let's get with today's video. My Yu-Gi-Oh! Digital Bug deck has 45 cards and 10 extra deck cards. So far, I think this is all that you need. First off, you need 3 copies of Galaxy Worm. Basically, if this card is on the field while I control no monsters, you get to summon one level 3 or lower Galaxy monster. So basically, if you have one on your field on your first turn in your hand, you summon Galaxy Worm, you summon another Galaxy Worm, and then you can summon Digital Bug, this one, Digital Bug Core Badge, and Digital Bug Rhinoceros Bus, or however you pronounce that. But basically, you need to summon a level 3 Digital Bug, and then you can Xyz summon this one and following this one. So pretty much you only have 3 creatures that you can use, but that's really all you need. Digital Bug Cocoon. So like I said, Digital Bugs cannot be used as an Xyz material for an Xyz monster unless it's of an insect type monster. And once per turn, if this card is in attack mode, I can target one level 3 insect monster from my graveyard, change this card to defense mode, and then special summon it in defense mode. And then, like I said earlier, if it's used for an XYZ summon, it gains, if it attacks a defense position monster, your opponent and card effects cannot be activated until the end of the damage step, which is pretty cool. We're going to be running 3 copies. Next one will be Digital Bug Cenobite. When this card is changed from attack mode to defense mode, I get a special summon one level 3 insect monster from my deck into defense mode. And then if this card is used for an Xyz material, this card can attack all defense position monsters your opponent controls each, which I think is very great. Next, we'll be running 3 copies of Digital Bug Web Soldier. Once per turn, you get to target one face-up attack position monster you control, change it from defense mode. And if you do, special summon one level 3 insect monster from your hand and defense position. And if this card is used for an Xyz material, the defense of all monsters your opponent controls becomes 0, and then change into defense mode. I think that's pretty cool. And then Digital Bug LED Y Bug. We need 3 copies. Once per turn, if this face-up card is changed from attack mode to defense mode, I can add one level 3 insect monster from a deck to your hand, and if this card is used for the Xyz material that destroys a monster by battle, you draw 1 card. As you can see, you need 3 copies of each Digital Bug creature, and I recommend having 1 copy of Ash Blossom, which negates your opponent from adding a card from the deck to the hand, special summoning from the deck, or sending a card from the deck to the graveyard, which I think this is a very good ability. And then you would have 1 copy of Ghost, because it negates them from the graveyard when it comes to adding cards from the graveyard to the hand or extra deck, which could be great for pendulum summoning. You get to negate a special summoning from the graveyard and banish a card from the graveyard. So this is good when it comes to negating, when it comes to activating abilities from the deck, and then this one is good for negating abilities from the graveyard. You also need 3 copies of Digital Bug Registrider, I believe that's how you pronounce that. Now, when you normal summon a level 3 insect monster, you can special summon this card, and then you can change both this card and that monster to level 5 or 7. And this card is used for an exchange material against 1000 attack and defense. Plus, if this card is special summoned from the hand, you can change the battle position of one insect monster you control. Now, this is a great ability. This is a great card. Basically, as long as you have something like for example, a combo would be, let's say you have Galaxy Worm and this card in your hand. Now, let's summon Galaxy Worm, right? Which is a normal summoning. And then, when you're going for a normal summon, you get to special summon this card. And when you special summon this card, that will change this card to defense mode. Now, normally that won't do anything because it's not like a digital bug ability, which lets summon more digital bugs. But I still think it's a cool combo. Where basically, you summon this card, make them both level 7 to exceed summon this card. Great ability. And then one copy of Lava Golem. Everybody knows Lava Golem. You sacrifice 2 monsters on your opponent's field, and each standby phase they take 1000 damage. And this does consider a special summoning on your side of the field, so you will not be able to. Well, if you're gonna activate this ability, you're not allowed to normal summon or special summon because this is technically your summoning. You're just putting it on your opponent's field. And then one copy of Nibiru, which basically if they special summon or normal summon basically anything 5 or more times, I get to tribute all of them, summon Nibiru to my field, and then they get a token equal to the attack and defense. Now, here's my opinion on this. Lava Golem is great. I feel like Lava Golem, you can't go wrong. Nibiru is like the upgraded version. Like this is like the S tier card, and this is like the B tier card when it comes to that, you know? But I don't like this card because let's say your opponent is having a lot of monsters with strong attack and defense. You basically did get rid of their field and all their abilities are useless. But then again, you gave him a very strong creature with possibly high attack and possibly high defense. Or Lava Golem, it just gets rid of 2 creatures, and when they draw, they take 1000 damage. So basically, it's instant 1000 points of damage guarantee, more or less. Unless they can get rid of the card before then with a link summoning or something. But this is happening on your turn, so they won't be able to link summon. But basically, this is just to go to 2 creatures and then 1000 points of damage. For me, I think this is better than Nibiru because you don't give your opponent the option when it comes to giving them a possibility of a strong creature as a token. For spells and traps, I highly recommend one copy of Raigeki, which basically just destroys all monsters your opponent controls. One copy of Swords of Revealing Light to prevent your opponent from attacking you for 3 turns because, as you can see, they don't have a lot of attack or defense. So you might need to stall and say, hey, just give me a turn or 2 so I can summon all my creatures. One copy of Harpy's Feather Duster. 3 copies of the field spell, Bug Matrix. Now this is great because all your insect creatures on the field gain 300 attack and defense, and then you can target 1 insect monster that's an Xyz monster that you control and attach 1 insect monster from your hand to that monster as a Xyz material. So let's say I have this card, right? And I don't have no more XYZ material. Well, lucky me, I drew this card. It has no meaning and no more because technically you only need Galaxy Worm if you need it for like the first turn. If not, it's not really beneficial to you in any way, shape, or form, more or less. But in case you don't need Galaxy Worm or any other digital bug, this card allows you just to use it as an excuse material. Because digital bug I'll get this explaining in a bit, but digital bug requires you to use 2 excuse materials to activate its ability. And then here you have 3 copies of Bug Signal. You get to target 1 Xyz monster you control. Special summon from your extra deck 1 insect monster that is 2 ranks higher or lower than what I have that's on the field, and using it as an excuse material. And I believe, yeah, if it already has materials, it gets transferred over as well. And you can only activate this ability once per turn. 2 copies of XYZ Import, which basically I have to target 1 monster you control, 1 monster your opponent controls, with attack equal than or less than, and you get to attach that monster as an excuse material. And I love this because it's a quick spell. So basically, you're just stealing your opponent's monsters as an excuse material. XYZ Reborn. So let's say you're going to attack or use an ability, then your opponent has something that counters it and destroys it because you're using your ability. XYZ Reborn allows you to target one Xyz monster from your graveyard, special summon it, and attach this card as a material, which is great. You can see we don't have anything like Call of the Haunted or Monster Reborn. We would have XYZ Reborn instead. And then, as you can see, we have 3 copies of the trap card Bug Emergency. Now, this is technically our version of Monster Reborn, because you would target 2 level 3 insect monsters from your graveyard, special summon them, but their effects are negated, which can be used for a very easy Xyz material to Xyz summon. Or let's say your field is left empty, you get to have 2 monsters to block and attack, which I think is great. And then you get to banish this card on an Xyz material from your graveyard, right? So you banish this card and an XYZ monster. Then all levels of all level 3 insect monsters you control become the level of the banished monster to the end of the turn. And I cannot special summon for the rest of the turn except insect monsters. So I think that's great because let's say you banish this card and you need to summon this card again. Right now I have 2 copies because that's all I have in the game, but maybe have 3 copies. But that'd be great to do like XYZ summoning anything else that you have. Let's see here. 2 copies of Corrosive Scales. I have no idea how you pronounce that. Corrosive Scales? I'm not sure. So basically you target 1 insect monster you control, equip this card to it, and while you control the equipped monster, your opponent cannot target insect monsters except the equipped monster. Now, if this card is equipped to a monster, each time your opponent will normal summon or special summon a monster, or activates a card or effect, I get to place 1 scale counter on each face of monster they control, and they will lose 100 attack and defense for each scale counter on it. So basically that makes one of your creatures extremely strong, while your opponent constantly gets debuffs when it comes to losing 100 attack and defense for every time they would basically do anything. So I would have 2 copies. 1 copy of Infinite Impermanence, I believe that's how you pronounce that. Which basically target 1 creature your opponent controls, negates its effect, and then if this card was set before activation and is on the field as the resolution, all the other spells and traps in this column are negated, and if you control no cards, you have to activate it from your hand. Which this is very good, I like it. Then you don't have to add this, but I think it's a good card. Gravedigger's Trap Hole. So basically when your opponent activates a monster's effect in their hand or graveyard, or when your opponent banished monster's effect is activated, negate it, and if you do, they take 2 dozen points of damage. This is great because it cancels their ability and they take damage. Now 2 copies of Boo Boo Game, where basically during damage calculation, if a monster battles, you take no damage from that battle, which is great because we don't have a lot of attack or defense, so in case we will take damage, we're not going to. And if this card is set in its owner's control, is destroyed by your opponent's card effect and sent to graveyard, you can target 2 normal traps in your graveyard, except Boo Boo Game, set them to your field, then they can be activated this turn, which is just great because this can help you with not taking damage and then bringing back 2 trap cards. So I recommend having 2 copies of that, and then 1 copy of Solemn Judgment, which basically anytime your opponent would summon a monster would be summoned or a spell or trap card is activated, pay half your life points and negate it, destroy that card. Now let's go with extra deck. I recommend 3 copies of number 20, Giga Brilliant. It's just 2 level 3 and it's also light insect card. Or you just attach 1 Xyz material, all monsters I control, gain 300 attack points. Now funny thing is, back in the day, I remember when I was in high school, this card was banned, and I'm not sure if it's still banned or not, but at one point of time, and probably still is, this card is banned. I mean, in Yu-Gi-Oh! Master Duel it's not, so maybe not anymore, but I never understood why this card was banned if it only gave 300 attack and that was it. And as you can see, it doesn't really have that much attack or defense, so for me, that never made sense. But basically, you would need 3 copies of this to summon any XYZ's material. The XYZ creatures you have for material to summon this, Now, you're gonna see what I mean in a second. Okay, see? You're only allowed to have insect creatures that are light, because as you can see, 2 or more level 3 light insect type monsters. So digital bugs only work with digital bugs, you know? Now, once per turn, during either player's turn, I can attach 2 excuse materials from this card and target 1 monster your opponent controls. Change its battle position. If you do, its effects are negated until end of turn. And once per turn, when this card destroys impulse monster by battle and sends it to your graveyard, I can attach the destroyed creature and attach it to this card as an excuse material. As you can see, this requires you to have 2 excuse materials detached, which makes your card technically pointless afterwards. But as long as you destroy a monster by battle, it gains an excuse material. Now, with Digital Bug Core Badge, you're gonna need 3 copies of those. Now, see, you can also exceed summon this card by detaching 2 excuse materials from a rank 3 or 4 insect monster you control, and then using that XYZ monster as excuse material attached to that monster also becomes attached to this card. So basically, you need 3 copies of this just to waste, or just have your field stronger by 300 attack points. So in case you don't have any cards like this, you would summon this one. Then immediately after summoning, you would summon this one. Okay, so once per turn, you can detach 1 excuse material from this card, target 1 defense position monster your opponent controls, shuffle into the deck. Now basically, it's a good combo. You would basically do this, use its ability, summon creature to defense mode, and its effects are negated. You attack it, gets destroyed, summon this card as a material, which now the card itself is 1, then the card you destroyed is 2. Then you get to summon this, then you have 2 excuse materials attached to this card. And then, once per turn, if the battle position of a monster on the field is changed, you can attach 1 excuse monster from your graveyard to this card as excuse material. Now, as you can see, everything requires you to summon from attack mode to defense mode, from defense mode to attack mode. So, this is a great card to have. That's why I recommend having 3 copies. And then last but not least, Digital Bug Rhinoceros. So basically, you can also exceed summoning this card by detaching 2 excuse materials from a rank 5 or 6 insect monster you control. Then using that XYZ monster as the excuse material, and this card attacks a defense position monster and inflict piercing damage. And then when you can detach 1 material and destroy the face-up monster your opponent controls with the highest defense. Alright, so basically, the combos would be something like this. Oh yeah, one last card. Number 3, I don't know how to pronounce that. I know what it is, I just can't pronounce it. Basically, you need the excuse card number 3, where if the battle position of a monster is changed, I get a special summon 1 insect monster from your hand or graveyard to defense mode. And when a monster's ability on the field activates its effect, including my own, I can detach 1 excuse material from this card, target that creature, negate its abilities, then I can make 1 insect monster on the field either gain 500 defense or change its battle position. And that is it. But it only activates its ability once per turn. So, by having this card in the field, it can also help you out by activating other card's abilities when you normally can't, or basically just upgrading the defense of a card. As you can see, it doesn't have much attack, mainly defense. So basically what I would do is, if I would have, yeah, that's the entire Yu-Gi-Oh deck list, but here would be some combos. You would have Galaxy Worm. Let's say on your first turn, you would have 1 copy of Galaxy Worm in your hand, just 1 copy. Now, what you would do is that you would summon this card normally, which allows you to special summon another Galaxy Worm, which allows you to exceed summon this card, which is summon in defense mode because it has more defensive attack. And basically whatever card you would have, like you summon this card if you have it in your hand, which gains more 300 attack and defense, and basically whatever else you have. And whenever your opponent would do something, you would negate it, and then you would gain this card 500 defense. Then later on in a game, if you were to ever summon this card, use this trap card and attach it to that, because this card would have so much defense by then. So it's technically like a wall card, you know? So you would have, so everybody's forced to attack this card before attacking anything else, but they're not going to be able to because they constantly lose 100 attack and defense. Then you have other cards to prevent them from attacking it. Like you would use this card to change its attack mode to defense mode, negate its abilities, destroy the defense position monster, and if they have defense position monsters, this card would attack it and pierce it and do piercing damage. And then you have like a bunch of other cards you have that will like help you out when it comes to negating abilities, such as Solemn Judgment, Gravedigger Trap Hole, Infinite Impertinence, much more. Destroy it? Like, oh, you destroyed my strongest creature? No. XYZ is reborn. Oh, you want to summon something so you can counter this? No. XYZ import. So Digital Bug is a very old Yu-Gi-Oh deck, but I still think it's very strong to this day, and it's underrated. And I have won some games in ranked, but I'm in like silver, so that would make sense. But the highest I ever been to in ranked was gold. But other than that, you can still win with Digital Bug. Like, I highly recommend building it, trying it out. It's super simple and easy to learn. If you want to build this in real life, go ahead. It's like super cheap and very easy. So yeah, I highly recommend looking into playing Digital Bug because it was one of my favorites growing up and still is to this day when it comes to playing Yu-Gi-Oh. So yeah, that's today's video when it comes to learning about Digital Bug. So hopefully this video helped you out in some way, shape, or form when it comes to learning how to play Digital Bug, how Digital Bugs work, and some combos. And in a different video, I'll be showing how to play Digital Bug in casual, and then we'll see the results in ranked. But other than that, that's it for today's video, everybody. So I really hope this video helped you out in some way. Thank you for watching today's video. Thank you for supporting me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the notification button for future videos when it comes to comedy, gaming, and much more. Thank you so much for the support, everybody, and have a good day, everyone.